And he is immediately met in the backfield, runs through the contact, and then throws a shoulder for good measure.
This team this year. That is true. High in the air. Right center field. Brandon Compton. Welcome to 2025. This one the other way. Still going down. That's the drag. Walks up and down.
Edwards pulls off and buries it. Richardson drives out for Robbie Ryan. Hurt three right on the money.
Takes his shot for Darby. Flag out. What is up, my beautiful Pitchfork Lunch peeps? It is me, Michael Caratinito, here on a wonderful, beautiful Friday, whatever you want to call it, my friends. Guess what? That's what it is. But yes, it is Friday. You can jump into Pitchfork Lunch. So glad you're here. Again, I should say jumping into Pitchfork Lunch. But yes, at Diablo00 on X, the artist formerly known as the Twitter. Yes, you guys know it. You guys love it. And yeah, you can see the show there. Also, don't forget, my good friends. A little darker, gotta fix that. There we go. That's a little better. Don't forget, my good friends. Yes, the Twitter at Diablo00 on X, on Twitter. You can also go to the wonderful, beautiful world of the good old IG. And go there and watch the show. It's at michael.caratinito.5. Yes, add a dot between the first and last name, and then a .5. Bam, there you are. Also, do not forget YouTube. Watch live on YouTube, guys. But again, if you haven't watched live and you missed out yesterday, we had Sun Devil swimmers Sun Devil swimmers that dominate. But we had a beautiful. There we go. We had an awesome. We had an Olympic medalist and obviously still current Sun Devil, Ilya Haroun, and Johnny Kulo joined me. And again, I had a great conversation with them. Again, yes, talk and swim, but I mean, just their journeys, everything, and learning about, there's certain strokes that they don't want to do. Just like I felt about Ilya's stroke, the butterfly. Yeah. So that, my friends, in and of itself, very, 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 very awesome. But you missed out. But again, go to YouTube. You can watch live. You see my name, Michael Caratinito. When you go to YouTube, search the page, though. It's at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Champ 005, at MVC005 on YouTube, guys. And subscribe again. Because like I said, you have missed that phenomenal con review, but a plethora of phenomenal con reviews here, whether it be coaches, players, voices, insiders, alum. We're gonna have an analyst, an alum, and an analyst on in just a few minutes. Sun Devil hoops alum Kyle Dodd will be talking hoops with him, men's hoops, and we'll sprinkle in. He's a guard. He can adjust. He can be in his toes, and we'll talk a little bit about obviously what Molly Miller's done on the women's side as well. So that being said, yes, but go to YouTube again, subscribe. It's at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Champ 005, at MVC005, and subscribe. Again, forks up to the new subscribers. Greatly appreciate it as you guys, again, binge watch season 1. You know what I say? I'm glad you're here, but shame on you. Where have you been? But that's why I got you. You can binge watch season 1, keep watching season 3, then binge watch season 2, keep watching season 3. And then, you're to the point now where I think you'd be watching a few episodes a day, which there's nothing wrong with that, going around Sun Devil Nation and getting caught up, because a lot of these con reviews, like we've had Kyle on before, and obviously different team, different players, but we're not going to talk about the same thing. So that is that. Also, my wonderful friends, hockey has a huge home series tonight and tomorrow against North Dakota. Yeah, again, that team that helped start the point streak and the wins on the gauntlet that was the Sun Devil schedule and NCHC. Let's face it, the whole schedule's a damn gauntlet. Coach Powers talks about it. Again, how can you not be fired up to play for Coach Powers? The breaking news, obviously, we had on Tuesday, Colin Potter, again, out for the year. Coach Powers on the show. We heard him playing it. Colin Potter out for the year as he had shoulder surgery. Yeah, I know. Say that 10 times fast. But for everything Coach said, obviously, he had it yesterday. But all signs from her, it went well, and his rehab. And they're going to miss his speed. Obviously, what he's done, that part sucks, but just want him to get better. But this hockey team, again, lots of hockey teams that unfortunately have the injuries. They have 2 of their top 6 forwards out, and yet they're still banging away at it. Mullet Arena will be rocking. I will be there. I think you guys should go too. That's just me. So, but like I said, hockey, hoops, obviously, coming up tomorrow. Both the men and the women are playing. Well, they both play West Virginia. Now they're both playing Cincinnati, except on opposite ends of the country. So the men are here. We're going to take a quick break, guys. Do not go too far. Again, get your snack pull up because this man is educational, entertaining, and he always picks on somebody that picks on him, and it's quite enjoyable. So we'll step aside real quick and have Kyle Dodd when we get back here on Pitchfork Lunch. All right, we are back here on Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, I am Michael Cartino at Diablo00 on X. Our familiar Twitter, the IG, Michael.Cartino.5, the YouTube, Amazon Michael V is in Victory Season Champ 005. Again, go there. Watching live, you're awesome right now, but subscribe because this man coming in to join us right now. Well, hold on. Probably good if I got us both up here. There we go. Yes, I know how to work technology, Kyle. Katie joining us, the Sun Devil, which I always do have to play this for phenomenal Sun Devil alum and analyst right here.
I'm from Arizona, Jerry. I broke Arizona records.
Rod.
I went to Arizona State.
Rod.
I'm a Sun Devil, man.
Yes, we are. And he is. But Kyle, hey, thanks again, obviously, for the time. It helps to get you the link to send it, and it helps to just in general in my head not figure everything set. But you're here. Men's hoops, obviously. I mean, it's it's been a roller coaster, man. This team, I mean, you've seen it courtside. I mean, that's as dejected as I've seen Bobby after a game against West Virginia, and I get it because every year with the portal, and you and I talked about this last year, I mean, you feel like, you come in, they're practicing in, the summer, but the fall, and you feel like, barring injuries, it's coming together. You have a talented team, and it started out well. But, man, what is it in your eyes that this team just can't get over the hump at home?
Yeah, I mean it's been tough, for sure. And I heard Bobby's comments after the game, and I mean he's not wrong. We haven't been able to get it done at home in recent years. I think for whatever reason, it's been a place that used to be really good to us, and like he said before COVID, that place was rocking. I remember we had 13,000 like on a Thursday night against Oregon State, during the Guard U years, or maybe it was even the year after with Lou Dort and those guys. But I mean, it was rocking, and we haven't really captured that in recent years. So it's been tough to lose those home games because in this league it's ridiculous. You got to take care of home court because you're playing on the road in front of crazy buildings every night, and by the way, teams are really good too. So.
Yeah. No, I mean, you said it and that's the thing. Like, the thing about to the Pac-12 people, because some people said to me, "Oh, welcome to the Big 12." I go, guys, there were just as crazy environments, and I mean, to Bobby's point too. I mean, there was that non-conference schedule where they went undefeated. And it's like, it's just home. Like you said, it was right. I remember that obviously Kansas is going to draw a crowd no matter what, as you and I both know. But I mean, to beat Kansas the year before in Kansas and come back and they're, number one and beat them on home court again. I mean, it is quite a bummer. Let me ask you this, though. I got to get this because Masamba Jop, like this kid, man, I mean, I talk about it almost every show. I mean, I know against Arizona, which again, they went toe to toe, wasn't bad. Houston, obviously, on the road, tough game, of course, right after Arizona. But this young man, I mean, the way he moves, and I know it's antiquated to think, oh, big men, they can't move like that, obviously. And like I said to people, I'm not calling him Victor Wembanyama, but it's like when you see big men move like that, and I mean, can hit that mid-range. I mean, stepped out to three. He just has gotten better and better every game. What have you seen from him?
Yeah, I mean, you hit it on the head. He's gotten better every game. He gets better every time he steps and onto that court. I see him do something a little bit different. And I think the kid, his ceiling is extremely high. I think he's an NBA player, and probably going to play for a long time in the NBA. I think probably someone would take a chance on him this year. I think he'd get drafted this year if he went. I do think that he needs to stay one more year and get a little stronger and polish some things up. And I think he would be a lottery pick the following year. I really do. I think he has that ability. I think he's just going to continue to grow and get better, get stronger. I think that the touch and the skill level that he has is big time, big time. I mean, he's as good as any big in the country skill wise. I'd like to see him get better rebounding the basketball, being a little more physical. He doesn't foul a lot, which is good, but in a way, I'd almost like to see him, hit some people, go rip somebody's arm off, getting a rebound. But yeah,
Like
he's a
you guys
special
always
kid.
say, like you always say, make the ref call the foul. Make him
Yeah,
call.
yeah, he's just a special kid. Honestly, great kid, special player. And this is not a knock on Jaden Quaintance because I thought he was a tremendous kid and obviously got some injuries last year. But I think Masamba to me is a better prospect than JQ. And JQ, we know how highly rated he was. Masamba's just a really good kept secret, honestly. And I'm glad he's in a Sun Devil uniform.
Oh no, absolutely. I couldn't. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's and when you said like the way he moves too. I mean, obviously you're a guard. You want the offense to flow, but to piggyback off that, like I mean, there's some catches he's made where it's like it just seems like out of position, and he takes like just a little slot, like not traveling or like a little like a step, and that step puts him in the perfect position. But as a guard, like I said, wanting the offense to flow, and I get messages all the like after West Virginia, like why don't they just throw it into this kid every time? Let the offense flow through him. I get, and I'm like, guys, it's got to be variety. The offense has to flow. I mean, the game has to come to him. But when he's that efficient, and I say to him, I go, I guess I really don't have a good answer. I go, it's just the defense is going to make adjustments. What say you on that? You've been on the court. You've run offenses. Like to the people saying, oh, it's just throw it into him every time, which isn't feasible. But what do you say to that?
Yeah, I mean, I get it, and I think he does need more touches, but he's not that guy that you're going to go put on the block and pump the ball to. He's not that type of player. Like I played with Ike Diagu, and Ike Diagu was going to go and he was going to seal your ass down and put you underneath the rim, and you were going to throw it. And I had confidence throwing it to him that he was getting a bucket. Masamba's not that back to the basket type. He can do that, and I think he does deserve some post touches in that way. But I think the real value of a guy like that is how skilled he is and in the screen and roll game, and especially as good as Mo is at finding him. And I just think that he's a little bit different style player than just being able to go and pound the rock to him like you would an old traditional big.
Okay, and you mentioned Mo and Pick Johnson, and when they're running the when the offense is flowing, they get out and transition and they're running the way he runs the floor too. How much does it benefit? Because that's the other side. I say to people, how much does it benefit Masamba playing with somebody like a Mo Odom, even like a Pick Johnson, who I mean, yeah, they'll attack the rim, and again, the defender's going to have to choose. You're on a break, like, okay, do I really go cut the ball off, or do I just kind of sag back on him and maybe this guy misses the bucket? But playing with them, how much does that help his game and that playing that tempo? I guess I'm asking you.
Yeah, I think that's one of his strengths, and I tell people a lot. And I was talking to an NBA scout the other day. His ability to run rim to rim. We watch him. If you go to the game tomorrow, if you're a fan and you want to watch a big guy do what he's supposed to do in transition, you watch Masamba. He runs and he runs right to the rim, and Mo and Pig and a lot of these guys have done a good job rewarding that. They'll throw it ahead, they'll lob it up to him. And you got to reward your big for doing that. And I've always told people, and I used to do pre-draft training, get guys ready for the draft, their draft workouts. And I used to tell the bigs, you can get yourself 8 points a game by doing 2 things, running the floor every single time and going to the glass every single time. You're going to get a tip dunk. You're going to get a putback. You run the floor every time. You're going to get a layup out in transition. So you get 6 to 8 that way, and then now you make a couple shots. Now you have a little game going. And I think Masamba's done a really good job of that. He's a high IQ player for being very raw and young.
Yeah, but I mean, and the team in general too, because I mean, I mentioned Mo, mentioned Pig, obviously, some injuries. I mean, Santiago Truett. I mean, his game, the way it translates. When you look at this team, okay, yeah, it's a little down. You got to get a win, and I think tomorrow night, I mean, you're definitely get a win. But you look at this team. I mean, look, it's a homer show. I told you that, and I'm like, these guys are competing, they're playing, they're getting healthier. I mean, it's going to take a lot of work now, as you know, but I mean, could they make a run? Because it just seems like I said, like with Santi and with Grubovich and I mean, Mo and Pig and Allen and Masamba, like, and Bryce. I mean, like, it seems like this team could make a run in this conference. It'll be tough, but I mean, what are those guys going to have to do in your eyes to do it?
Yeah, I mean, you just got to decide we're not going down like this. There has to be some internal leadership, which I think they do. Mo does a really good job, and these guys they all like each other. I've been saying this for months. They like each other. They play for each other. I did see the other night. It looked like they were, a little defeated. And it's hard, man. I've been on teams like this. When you get on the losing train, it's hard to get off because it just seems like everything goes wrong. And like the Bobby mentioned it in his press conference, the shot that they hit on the wing that almost hit the ceiling, and as a player, it's just demoralizing because you're like, man, how are we going to get out of this?
Right.
And at some
And when
point, you
Santi
just
threw his hands
yeah.
up real quick, he
Yeah.
threw his hands up. I was pretty much doing the same thing, the same time,
Yeah.
sitting on probably quietly, obviously, because
Yeah.
I'm not going to be obnoxious on
Yeah.
in the media area. But I look and I say, sometimes somebody with a long wingspan and that makes the shot go in
Yeah.
because they put ridiculous arc on it, and it just, like you said, hits the ceiling and rainbows down.
Yeah. I mean, those are the things that when it's going bad, it's going bad, and I think someone just has to step up and decide, hey, we're not going to do this. We're going to go, and I think they understand. I mean, they've played really good basketball at times this year. I mean, I look back at, Hawaii obviously was special, and they played really well, and kind of ran out of gas in the championship, but then. It didn't just go south when they got back. Everybody's like, well, they left their game in Maui. No, we kicked the crap out of Oklahoma downtown. I mean, we played really well and played well in another home game, NAU. And then, UCLA was kind of the point where it just started getting off track, and they just stopped making shots. And then, it's just contagious. But I mean, you can look back a week ago and nobody's played U of A that tough. Nobody. I mean, U of A's killing everybody. So, I mean, we have the ability to go and win basketball games and I do think they can go on a run, but it's going to take a special effort, and it's going to take some serious internal toughness within the team to just say, hey, I'm tired of this, man. We're not going out like this. We're not going to have this type of year. Let's go recapture what we had early in the year, and let's go beat some people.
Yeah, because to your point, Kyle, I've been saying this all season. Like, even last year, like when it got tough, and I remember just talking to you at games, like, yeah, they're not winning at home, but who's ever on the court, barring the injuries, like they were competing. It was just the last 3 minutes of the game that, like you're talking about, the Big 12 schedule, Iowa State, Arizona, Texas Tech, like the last 3 minutes of the game, there's no gas. Like, and that's what drove me crazy. I go, guys, I understand it comes down to winning and losing. I go, you got to turn it into wins. But to see a team fight, and like you said, to see this team battle, play defense, get out there, and then, like you said, just a few wacky plays, and it's just like, I couldn't, like you said, I couldn't imagine as a player, because sometimes you get in your head, even when I played, like, what do I have to do to get something go right? Like, what do I have to do? When you look at and the schedule too, and again, I love the comments, especially from the supposedly educated people down south, when Bobby was saying, like, yeah, we play BYU, then we go to Arizona, which is a rivalry game, and then we go down the road to Houston, like the schedule makers, and people were saying, oh, he's whining about a schedule. I'm like, no, the Big 12 is tough, but like I go, yeah, granted, the travel from here to Tucson's not bad, Provo's not bad, but I said, then you go, you take on the number one team in the nation, you go toe to toe with them. I mean, obviously you were there, but when you're looking at a schedule like that, like you said, I mean, the opposite is like a shot going down or not. U of A, you're saying, like, they get into some games, but they just pull away. They're winning. How fine is that line?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I mean, like, I remember when the schedule came out, I had some buddies that were like, man, dude, we have all of our tough games on the road. And I'm like, that's not a bad thing. I mean, Houston's going to be really tough to beat in Tempe or Houston, U of A is going to be tough to beat in Tempe or down there. BYU same. So just playing those games on the road, it's kind of a, hey man, if we can sneak one of those or steal one of those, that's a massive win. Um, but yeah, I mean, and then just going through this stretch, I mean, it just seems like, I don't know, even back to the Pac-12 years, I feel like we always start like 3 or 4 on the road or 4 or 5 on the road, something like that. But those 3 road games, I'm sorry, but 95% of the country, of the teams in the country, are going 0-3 on those 3 road games. It's just that's the reality. BYU is really, really good. They're a top 10 team, and they're really good at home. And Arizona is the number 1 team in the country, so they're going to beat most people at home. Houston, I think, under Kelvin Sampson's like 146-7 at home. So I mean, that's a game you're probably not going to get. It's going to take an extraordinary effort. So it's been a tough start schedule wise. And I think that's the tough part is, you get going in this negative losing and then you have to put a stop to it though at home when you have winnable games, and they haven't been able to do that, or they weren't able to do that this week so far. But Saturday is massive for them. Did I lose you?
Oh, sorry, Kyle.
No.
I heard everything. The crazy thing is, I heard everything you said, and all of a sudden we froze. And you're like, so yeah, no, I mean, and that's why I was saying that to you, because I just don't understand, like, and again, as fan, you can't spell fan, like I said to you, you can't spell fanatic without fan, and like I get that part, but like, yeah, it's crazy. Hey, so when you look at, like you said, looking at the schedule, but going toe-to-toe with Arizona, when they come up here to Tempe, because, I mean, you obviously played those games, the second time you play any team, but the rivalry team, how much, like, how, I know it's important, it's done when people say how important is to get off to a fast start. Obviously, it's important to get off to a fast start, but how big is it just to, like, start out, like, on a run, or, just make sure, like, you're not trying to do too much, because again, you were right there with them last time. Everybody's going to make adjustments, but like, I mean, like you've always said, you are who you are at that point in the season. But that rematch, I know games before that, but that rematch, how big is it just to, again, just stay within yourself and make up those 7 points and send those little kitty cats back down the freeway crying.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think it's crazy, because it's going to take an even better effort than they had down there. You would think, oh man, we got them at home. Now we can, we can get them, but we got their attention. I promise you that. They realized they were in a dogfight down there, and I know they're going to come out and they're going to try to knock us out in our own building, and we got to be ready. And I think the reason why they were able to stay in that game last week was they stayed in the game, and then they started early. They kept it close, and that's why they gave themselves a chance. I think you can't let a team like Arizona, who has the ability to run away from you, get an early double-digit lead. It's the Devils have had an ability to come back, but it's not easy to do it against a team like that. So I think if they stay in the game, get a good start, keep the crowd in the game. I really hope that we get a lot of, I know obviously it's been a struggle, but I hope we get a ton of fans there. We don't want them, overtaking our building. That's never a good thing. So, yeah, I think it'll be a really, I think, good atmosphere and a really, really good game, knowing that the two teams locked it up last week and played a nice game, and it was a battle, really. So.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And it's funny, Kyle, because as you know, I mean, I start the show, in August, right before football and volleyball get rolling. But I literally, anytime I talk Territorial Cup, from anything, any sport, I'm like, guys, for basketball, it makes me still vomit when those chants like just drown, even if they're, ASU's like, trying to like retaliate, but it just, the U of A chance, when it drowns it out. And I'm like, no, man, no, like, do not sell your tickets to them. I don't care what they offer you. And people say, oh, it's easy for you not to make somebody money. I say, guys, they have tickets. I go, don't sell your tickets to Arizona fans. It is, like I said, I can't stand that school. I will show them respect. Like I said, they've been number one for quite a few weeks. I've seen them play. I want to ask you this. You're a guard, so I can keep you on your toes. Women's hoops wise, obviously we know you're covering the band. I'm not going into crazy detail with you, but like when Bobby came in, and again the guards, and you start to make these runs, these same wins. But Molly Miller coming in, man, going 15-0. Like again, it's basketball. They're around the same complex, energy, everything. But I mean, from you're like inside, but outside, but looking in. I mean, just how insane is that? And just how awesome is it? You see like what Coach Miller's been able to do with, again, having to put a bunch of transfers together, a new coach coming in, putting a new team together, but then to start out 15-0 and just every game just keep crushing it. I mean, what do you see?
Yeah, I mean, it's been awesome. I think, obviously Charlie Turner-Thorne was there when I was there, and then, beyond when I was there. And that program, as long as I've been around, has been, a top program in the Pac-12. And then, that was the idea, is come over to the Big 12 and be one of the top programs. Now, I know they had a couple down years after Charlie left. And it just needed a change, I guess, and then just inject a little life into the program. And Molly has come in, and it's like she's the Kenny version of women's basketball. She's done a great job of kind of activating the energy around women's basketball. The crowds have been better. Obviously, winning helps, but just she's doing all the right things. Out in the community and going to other events and sporting events and supporting other teams, and she just gets it. I mean, she really does. She gets it. She knows how to run a basketball program. I couldn't be more excited for them. And it sucks because a lot of the schedule, the way the schedule breaks, we don't get to see them. They're either on, like you said, on the opposite side of the country, or, we're traveling when they're home, and all that. So I've been admiring from Twitter, and from, been watching we were watching at the team dinner a couple weeks ago. We had the phones out, and we were watching, I think it was the Gonzaga game when we were at UCLA, and the whole team's watching. So yeah, it's not that we're not paying attention. It's just, it's tough to get to the games, but yeah, great. She's doing a great job, and, I wish them nothing but success the rest of the way.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy because like the doubleheader on the 21st, I mean, granted you guys were playing two different teams, but and I think, and I know I said this to you last year. I don't understand how, like, even in the Pac-12, you can make it work, but with the Big 12, like, okay, both playing West Virginia. I'm not saying both games, but like the Cincinnati game. So yeah, I mean, that would be tough. The one I get, they go to West Virginia, they come back, and then they're playing Cincinnati. But even if it was closer ones, like BYU and Utah, like to have like double headers. Yeah. Again, it's not gimmicky. Like you said, that's energy. That's awesome. That is so you can work it out on the schedule to where it could happen, with the team, or, every other year, like once or twice a season for everybody. There's enough games to do it. And believe me. But hey, NCAA coming up with original ideas, Kyle, I don't know. I mean, that happens all the time, right?
Yeah.
And I got to ask you, this is a fun one because I was teasing, because, Mr. Doug Tamro, who picks on your driving you're nice enough to take him down to Tucson, and then he has to pick on your driving. But some people message me when he's doing color, they're like, he's not too bad. But he needs to use more Kyleism. So I mean, not that we ever want you gone, but you try to help him out on that. So at least he's not hurting your chair when you have something with the kids, which is awesome.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I told him last game, I said, I feel like everybody that listened to you got dumber after listening to the
Billy Madison.
He actually does a really good job. And, I know everybody laughs because there's really people out there that think we don't like each other because we just go at each other on Twitter. But like one of my best friends in the world, and he does a really good job. I don't like missing games because I'm afraid that people are going to, enjoy him doing it, and I might be out of a job. And he actually, I made a couple comments after the game and the post game the other day about the crowd, in which I shouldn't have done. It kind of got taken in the wrong way context. I was disappointed in the turnout. I want more people there. We're playing in front of buildings that are full everywhere else, and I said it was kind of eerily quiet. It was just a weird atmosphere there the other night, and the last thing I wanted to do was, insult people that are actually loyal fans that are there. That's the last thing. That's not what I meant. I just meant that it's just weird. It was weirdly quiet, and I think it was just that feeling that it's just going bad right now. So anyway, we got some people that didn't like my comments and and just said they didn't agree with it, whatever, which is totally, I think it's awesome. I love the passion, but my whole point is that Doug wrote a couple people back with a really nice email, just basically defending me, saying, look, there's nobody that cares about Sun Devil basketball more than Kyle. There's nobody that cares about the fans more than me. I absolutely, I'll do anything for this program, anything, and I do a lot of it for free. So, that was pretty cool of him, to do that. 'Cause, it's always funny to see when he actually is nice to me, because I'm like, okay, yeah, I know how you really feel, but every once in a while it's nice to hear it, and then but I love the guy like a brother, and he does a great job. One of the best sports information guys in the country for sure.
Oh yeah, he kicked this season off. He was my first guest. So I'm like, I've been trying to get him. I'm like, come on, man, sit down with me. I'm like, I make it fun. And we talked about so much, and I said, and I did the same thing, and that's what he said. He goes, man, Katie's great. I go, well, why you gotta be calling him triple single? I go,
yeah.
I go, why you tell me that? No, but he was laughing. But I'm so glad you said that about the crowd, because what I said was, for years, I'm like, you're right. You go to packed arenas, and I go, I'm not just talking about the student section. I'm like, you're at a game, man. I go, be loud, cheer. I go, even when it's not close. I go, they always talk about, take the crowd out of a game. I go, the smart crowds never get taken out of the game. I go, yeah, it's tough. You might be losing, but be loud, drive the other team crazy. At some point, they're going to make a mistake. I said, yeah, cheer. And I go, especially Territorial Cup. I said, when that team down south is up here, I go, it makes me want to vomit that, I have to hear that U of A chant, and I'm not in McHale Center. I said, just cheer. I go, cheer the whole time. Just be loud. Be loud. I go, give your voice a minute. Yeah, I get it. Get a snack. Get this halftime. You can recruit, but I'm like, just keep going.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, it's and that's what I was saying. More from a former player's perspective is it helps, man. I mean, when you're on the court, it helps. You believe it or not. I remember playing, and I remember when we weren't playing well, and you could kind of hear the groans and people complaining, and rightfully so. Like, I think that's
right. That's what I said too, Kyle. Real quick, I said, if you want to boo, you have every right, but you don't have a right if you're just if you're not going to in general cheer and be loud.
Yeah, I think it's just remembering that and we do the people that that are loyal fans that have been coming for years. They're awesome, man. They're so great, and we do have great fans, and we see the difference it makes, like selling out every football game. That was a great atmosphere every week. I couldn't wait to get in that stadium, and that's what it was like when when we had it going here in basketball. It was, man, I could not wait to get in the arena. I remember the Guard U year, walking down the tunnel, a Sunday afternoon game against Vanderbilt, who was 2-7, and NFL football was on. So, I mean, that's usually going to be a light crowd, and it's like a 1:00 game. And I remember walking down the tunnel going, oh my God, this place is sold out. I mean, it helped that we were number 3 in the country, but, but that's just, it's such a great college basketball atmosphere in Desert Financial when we got energy and the building's filled, and yeah, we've just done a really good job over the years when it is filled, and the fans do a good job, and I think it just matters to the players. So yeah, it was like I said, I really do apologize to any fans that I offended. I was just more saying
no, don't do. Oh, Kyle's gone. Well, he was saying he should cheer loud. Let's see if we can get him back. He dropped. Oh, no. Kyle, can you hear me? Kyle. Oh man, he dropped. Well, see if we can get him back. Oh, there he is. There he is.
Sorry.
There he is. No, that's okay. All of a sudden, I was like, "What is it, man?" See, we start talking about cheering, and Kyle, you know what it is? I told you this last year. I don't know if you remember, but I said anytime I mention that school down south more than 2 or 3 times, and I get, like I said, I give them respect. They're number one. I will call them that school down south. I don't have to like them, but something wacky always happens. It's their damn fault because I'm a Sun Devil. I'm innovative. I got a portable studio. So no, but you know, and like I said, I love that you said that because again, and I say to people, I go, if you want to have the right to boo and this and that, I go, if a coach says something or like you saying something, and again, that's why I say anybody that knows you and knows like what you've been, and like I always say, you always had a knack for media because when I was a broadcasting student, when we were there, you helped, you sat in the chair for me, 2 chairs, so I could set up the interview with Coach Evans.
Yeah.
So I always knew. I'm like, yep, he's got a thing for me. I'm like, hey, man, I'm really sorry to bother you, Kyle. I'm like, can you sit there for like 2 seconds? I'm like, now go to the other chair. And I'm like, oh, I'm like, I marked it. And I'm like, oh, okay, it'll be perfect.
Yeah.
And you you want me to stay? And I'm like, oh, no. I'm like, I'm in my head, I was like, God, it'd be really cool if he did. But I'm like, no, I can't ask him to do that. No.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, it's fun, you know, and like, you know, part of it too is I'm a pretty bad loser. I'm a sore loser, so I hate losing. It's tough, man. It's tough to watch these kids that you really like. I love this group. You know, got to know them pretty well in Hawaii, and then you know just traveling with them and in the hotels and stuff. And then you know these coaches are my friends. You know, I mean, you know, Bobby Hurley's brought some of the coolest moments in my lifetime. You know, with Sun Devil basketball and the coaching staff are my buddies. I mean, we hang out on the road and you're just, you know, you're talking hoops, you're talking life, you know, you're talking family, you're talking kids. It's, you know, you get to know these guys and I'm, you know, in a sense, I'm a fan too. You know, I work, you know, during the games, but I'm the biggest fan of Sun Devil basketball and I just want what's best for them and I want them to get off this losing train that they're on and I just want them to have success because I want my friends and I you know to have success and I want my kids the kids that I'm watching you know play and wear the uniform that I wear you know that I wore. I want those guys to have success, so you know I'm rooting for that more than anything, more than anybody even knows, to be honest.
Oh no, absolutely. I mean, I believe me, and that's what I say to people. I was like, guys, I've because I've played some sound too at times, even in Pac-12, when you're like, oh, we're like you and Tim are like, there's no foul there, there's no call there. Like there was some the other day, and I'm just like, you know what, I get it. That's why people can't talk about it because you're gonna pull. You're gonna literally like if you have hair, you're gonna be bald. I'm like, you know, I should just. I go if I was a coach, I would literally just get rid of my hair because I just couldn't. Like I said, I understand coaches, you know, a lot of refs say, oh, they're whining this and that. But when you see stuff and then you're like, wait, that's a foul? Because like I said to you last year, if I called that on you on a playground anywhere in the country, outside of maybe getting punched in the face, like you want to foul, like they're like, okay, you're never playing here again. It's just, it's frustrating. I get it. Everybody gets as part of the game, but it's absolutely maddening when I look at something. Oh, I want to end on this too real quick. Because in saying that, the women's team against West Virginia the other night did not shoot one free throw. You just said it. You obviously played. You played. It's almost like a big man not coming out of a game a few times without one rebound. And I'm like, how does that happen? Like the ball will bounce to you. They did not shoot one free throw in a college game. Now, look, I'm not – West Virginia had fouls, but you're telling me – and I looked at a lot of the extended highlights and I started watching the game again. How okay, from a player's mind, how on God's green earth is that possible to not shoot one free throw in a game?
Yeah, it's not. I mean, unless you're shooting a ton of, and I know the style of play makes a difference, and you're shooting a ton of perimeter shots, which you know the women's team, you know they do, but they you know it's
they
I
go
didn't
inside.
see the game. Yeah, I didn't see the game, but that's not possible to, you know, you know, I've been known to get on the officials a little bit, but yeah, that's tough. I mean, early in the year, I think Colorado came in and shot some crazy 47 free
Yeah, they
throws
shot
on
31 in the second half.
31 free throws in the second half on the road in a Big 12 game is insane, you know. So
Thank you.
but
Yeah.
yeah, that's tough. It's tough, but I mean, like I said, I honestly critique them a lot during the broadcast, but man, what a thankless job that is, man. I mean, it
100%.
doesn't matter. The officials could get every single call right and have the game of their life, and half the people still hate them. I I would never want to be a ref. I mean, I know these guys in college make a good decent living and make a good amount per game, but I don't know if it's worth it, man. To be honest, they take a lot of abuse from the coaches, from the fans, and
Yeah.
I had a little kid, one of like had to be like 10 at BYU, just wearing out, and I'm like, man, like looking at these parents, like you're letting your kid go at go at this grown man like that, but it's
Oh,
pretty wild.
no. And again, and I've said that too. It is thankless, but like I always say, because there's so many times in games, it's not consistent. Like when I see it like
Yeah,
calling the same crap, whether not called or called both ends, and it's the same, I'm like, I'm not saying a word. Cool.
yeah,
Like that's how it is today. Great. Don't care.
yeah,
Play the game. And that's what I say to people. It's not about complaining about, like you're saying, just complaining. Oh, it's their fault. No, it's not their fault.
yeah,
You
yeah,
lost. But when it starts weighing down on little things, it's like, damn it. Like, okay, but
yeah,
just like you're
yeah,
saying, though, coaches, but just call it the same at both ends. And like you said, thankless job. Like you said, you're going to call it great, and you call it great at both ends. You're right. Half the crowd's always going to hate them.
yeah,
But if you're going to call it crappy at both ends. And I think
yeah.
then to your point, Kyle, nobody would have anything to complain about.
Yeah, it's like I've always said it as a player, like establish the way you're going to call it, and then I can adjust. So
Yep.
I was a guy that picked up full court every game, and if you were going to give me a little leeway on a hand check or an arm bar, then I was going to use it. If I got dinged with a foul early, I knew I couldn't do it. So it's
Yep.
just like in baseball, umpire establishes the strike zone. If you're giving that ball a ball off the plate, then you better stay there all 9 innings, because once if you stay and you're consistent with whatever you do,
Yep.
players can adjust. I think the frustrating part sometimes is, there's games where they're letting us play, and then now they tighten it up. Now they're letting us play, and and you don't know what is a foul by the time the second half comes around. So,
Yep.
but I
Oh,
think the Big 12 has some really, really good veteran officials, and they have a good feel for it. And it doesn't mean we're still not going to yell at them and boo them and critique
that's
them,
right.
but that's what you
Got
do.
to keep them on their toes, right? Got to
Yeah,
keep them
yeah.
sharp. No, that's awesome, Kyle. Man, look, I will see you obviously tomorrow. Thank you again so much. Sorry for the U of A crap invasion of the freezing twice.
No, no
Whatever.
worries.
But it doesn't matter. With the pitchfork, we made it through it. So, but hey, again, thank you so much. I will see you tomorrow. And then, yeah, like you said, let's get off the losing train. Let's go get a win.
Yep. Gotta get a win. We'll get it done tomorrow and get back on track.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much, Kyle. Appreciate it.
No problem. See you guys.
Love it, man. Kyle Dodd right there. Yes, forks up. He rocks. I froze. He froze. But he carried. See, look at that. Look at that analyst. He carried it when he's like, oh, did I lose you? And then all of a sudden, I was back. I don't know. Again, the invasion of Tucson, guys. But, yeah, so we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we're going to wrap up talking about hockey. Again, Kyle was, forks up to Kyle Dodd. Phenomenal. So, we'll take a quick break, and then I'll wrap up on the other side, talking a little hockey as they get set to play North Dakota. This is huge for ASU hockey tonight. All right, what is up, my pitchfork lunch peeps? Props to Kyle Dodd. Again, forks up to the Sun Devil alum and color analyst on the radio broadcast as he works with the great Tim. We're back. Sorry, that froze. Anyway, Kyle Dodd was great. Forks up to Kyle Dodd. Got pass run on here anyway. We just talking about football selling out. Football schedule's up again. Absolutely awesome. Morgan State, first 3 weeks, Morgan State. Yes, which is an away game for Kansas. But anyway, want to wrap up real quick with hockey as the that's North Dakota, who is 18-6 overall, number 3 in the country, comes into play the 12-11-1 Devil. Well, North Dakota is 3 in the NPI index. Sorry, and ASU is number 22 in the NPI index. 12-11-1. Guys, we talked injuries, and you know it, and that is the crazy part about it is that they Colin Potter's out. And Dowd is out too. 2 of the top 6 forwards. It is going to be insane. As last time they played, real quick before we get out of here, because we're up against it. When they went to North Dakota, again, this is the second time they played, but it was their third series of NCHC play. They lost 5-2, and then they won 4-2, got an empty netter. And North Dakota was number 6, and they have just, again, lost to Denver, beat Denver in overtime, swept Ohio State, split with Minnesota Duluth on the road. Split with No. Anyway, split with Dartmouth. Then obviously lose to Miami in overtime, then beat them. So look, this team tonight against North Dakota, the lines are going to be a little different. I mean, top line will definitely be different. But Shimmick should be back. If he's not, we'll see the other two playing with Cruz Lucius, or the other one playing with Shimmick and Cruz Lucius on the top line. So again, get on out. Mullet Arena, 7 p.m. tonight, 5 p.m. tomorrow. Absolutely rocks. Yes, absolutely rocks. So that's going to do for the show. Forks up to Kyle Dodd for joining in and going through the hoops of the freezing of the of me, but he took it because again, he's a pro. That's awesome. So, and I hear everything you're saying. You just didn't see me, which is fine. But nonetheless, have a phenomenal weekend. Again, hockey tonight and tomorrow night, hoops tomorrow, 8 p.m. against Cincinnati. Gymnastics also tonight. Got to get to that again. So forks up to Kyle Dodd and Ilya Haroon, Johnny Kulo from yesterday. Man, absolutely awesome week here on Pitchfork Lunch. I will see you Monday. Same bat time, same bat channel, 12 to 1 at Diablo00 on XR. So I know Twitter, my IG, Michael.Cartoon.5, YouTube at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Champ 005, at MVC005 on YouTube, and subscribe away. It is hashtag our state. Thanks to reigning back-to-back Big 12 champs women's volleyball for always making sure I remind you of that. Yes, Team Down South, it is hashtag our state. And as you know, go Devils. And as always, forks up.
I went to Arizona State.
Right.
I'm a Sun Devil, man.
The 27-yard line. That's a great call. Two play fake. Plummer will put it up. Throws over the middle. Cool. Touchdown. Quick flag.
Third down and 5. 11 swings it to Scadaboo. Scadaboo breaks defenders. Here he goes again.
Scadaboo is the running back, and he is immediately met in the backfield, runs through the contact, and then throws a shoulder for good measure.
On this team this year. That is true. High in the air. Right center field. Brandon Compton. Welcome to 2025. Just run the other way. Still going back. That's the track. Walks up and down.
Edwards pulls off and buries it. Richardson drives out for Robbie Ryan. Hurt 3 right on the money.